All right. Good morning. We're excited to be back at Missouri Western State University to kick off the 2023 campaign. The university, the staff does a fantastic job of welcoming us up here, as well as taking care of all of our needs. It's great to get to see the first full team practice today. We're excited about the upcoming season. With that, I'll open it up for questions.
What has your communication been like with Chris
Yeah, that's something that Brett Veach and his staff really handle. I'm not involved in that.
What's your optimism that he'll
Look, we love Chris, and when he decides to report, we'll welcome him. I don't want to get into speculating on when that'll happen or if it'll happen.
We talked to Mark the other day, and he mentioned that obviously stadium-wise, all of your options are on the table, whether it's build new where you are, build new elsewhere, or renovate and upgrade Arrowhead. And he says that's the preference. Is that you've said that before too? Is that kind of your still preference? Do you feel optimistic that's a possibility?
Yeah, we do feel optimistic about that. We spent a couple years studying the structural integrity of the stadium, and earlier this year we preliminarily concluded that Arrowhead could be renovated and extend the life for up to another 25 years. All three options are still on the table, but we're working hard behind the scenes to try to get in a position where if the Royals make a decision later this summer, as they've said they're going to do, we'll be in a position to go with them if they decide to go with a public vote.
Mr. Hunt, you live pretty close to AT&T Stadium in Arlington. You see all the events that go in there. Would there be a benefit to having an ability to open the roof, have an open-close situation?
Certainly one of the benefits of a dome stadium is that you're weather protected, which does give you the ability to host more events. And we've seen that whether it's SoFi or AT&T Stadium, they host a lot of events. I would point out that GEHA Field at Arrowhead is hosting a lot of events this summer. We're expecting to have a very busy summer next year, so not having a roof doesn't preclude having many of those events, but certainly if you had a roof, you could probably do more during the winter.
We've seen a number of teams around the league lean into alternate uniforms. You guys have always taken a traditional approach. What's your thought process?
Yeah, it was something that my dad felt very strongly about, going all the way back to the early 60s. He wanted a lot of continuity in the uniforms, and we've tried to maintain that over the year. I think we have a very distinct brand with the red and white, and don't anticipate steering away from that anytime soon.
Clark, we hear from Andy how he likes to, get up here and get the team away from everybody in Kansas City and builds a camaraderie. What are your thoughts on the team being here and just being away?
Yeah. Well, I mentioned in my opening remarks how excited we are to be up here. It's been a fantastic relationship with the university. Like Andy, I'm a big believer in the value of getting the organization away from Kansas City. The great thing about being here in St. Joe is we're so close. So as you can hear the fans today, we've got a tremendous number of fans here today, and we'll have that throughout camp so they can drive up. But you have the team away, and it really creates an opportunity, I think, for the players to bond with each other, a chance for the new players to really get integrated into the organization. So I think there are a lot of positives with it.
Do you personally still get excited this time of year? I know players and coaches. Do you still get that feeling?
Yeah, absolutely. One of the highlights of the year for me is getting to address the team at the opening meeting, which was last night. And as I did that and just sort of looked out, I felt a lot of excitement. It's great to be back. There are always a bunch of new players, right? So it's a new team every year. We're obviously defending a championship this year. It's a great opportunity, something that hasn't been done in the National Football League for almost 20 years. So I'm every bit as excited as the players and coaches to be here.
Matt, is that?
Go ahead. Was that your message to the team, or what was your message to the team?
That was part of the message to the team is, we have a tremendous opportunity this year to defend a championship. It's hard to do. We had a chance 3 years ago and didn't get it done, and hopefully we'll be able to do it this year.
Matt?
Clark, after Super Bowl 54, the pandemic made having training camp with fans impossible. How meaningful is it to share the championship with fans here in St. Joe after Super Bowl 57?
Yeah, it's so exciting, and I think it's something that really benefits the team, particularly the players. Having the fans out here, it adds a level of energy to the practices that you don't get that. It's a very different environment, just thinking about the OTAs. Not having the fans there versus having the fans today. I think we're expecting maybe record crowds this year, certainly with good justification coming off the Super Bowl win. So it's great to be here and great to be able to share this with our amazing fan base.
All right, we'll go Nate, Bahe, and finish with Adam.
Clark, I believe that there's nobody on the team right now that is currently the highest paid player at their position. I know the last person probably was Patrick at the quarterback position. Obviously, there's been a lot of things since then. When you go into a contract extension discussion with a certain player on the team who obviously is in high regard, such as Chris, is there a philosophical approach you have towards obviously paying what they're worth and not necessarily being at the top of the line at their position, or do you try to treat it on an individual basis given the circumstances at that point?
Yeah, we really don't think about it in the context of who's the highest paid player in the league. We think about it in the context of the Kansas City Chiefs and what's best for the organization, not only this year, but as we go forward. One of the challenges in the National Football League is the salary cap, and it makes it tough to keep a championship team together. That's something that Brett and his staff have really focused on. I think they've done a fantastic job, and that's just how we're gonna view it going forward.
Bahe.
Clark, it sounds like you've annually been addressing the team for years and years. I wonder if you could just reflect on how different the message is today than even 7, 8, 9 years ago, or what you would try to get across then when you're selling hope, I guess.
Yeah, well, 7 or 8 years ago, we spent a whole lot more time talking about the 60s and 70s than I do now. I still include the history of the organization because I think it's important for the young players to understand, where the team came from in the early 1960s as a charter member of the American Football League. But certainly, it's great to be able to talk about the success that we've had over the last 4 or 5 years. And also the success that we've had over the last 10 years with Andy. One of the points I always make to him is, how blessed they are to have a Hall of Fame coach and really one of the best coaching staffs in the National Football League. And if they'll follow the lead of the coaches, good things are going to happen.
Adam, last question.
Clark, you remember that report came out the week of the Super Bowl that Andy maybe was considering retirement. How did you take that in terms of maybe his seriousness that maybe he's thinking about that now?
Yeah, that's never come up in my conversations with Andy. And I think as I recall his answer, somebody asked him the question, and I don't think he had stopped to think about that subject. And it sort of had a life of its own there for a few weeks until Andy said, no, I'm not thinking about that. As I see Andy, he remains incredibly energized and excited. He's all about the Kansas City Chiefs and trying to get us back to the playoffs and win another Super Bowl. And I think he has as much energy and passion as I've seen in the 10-plus years that he's been with us.
I realize the time to ask him that question is coming out at the end of the long season, but do you have any sense that we're getting close, somewhat close, reasonably close to the end?
I really don't. And I hope I don't for a long time.
All right. Thank you. Thanks, Clark.
Yeah.